Okay, so tonight's video is about being transparent, it's about being vulnerable, and this video is for addicts in sobriety, and it's also for family members of addicts and how you're feeling about them. I want to talk about some secret feelings. These are feelings that I have on the daily about other addicts that can't get sober, about addicts who are enabling other people, the things that I'm thinking that no one else is talking about. We need to bring them into light. Anyway, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome again back to Tell Your Story. My name is Nason for the new people that are here, and here we go. Yeah, so again, full transparency. Tonight, I'm talking about the thoughts that I have about other addicts. And this might be people that are still trying to get sober. It might be just people in addiction overall. And as someone who is sober, I think I can relate to other addicts that are in sobriety, and I can also relate to family members that say have addicted loved ones. It's just not fair to say that I think positively all the time, because I don't, and as someone who has come a long way in their sobriety, it's very irritating to have other people who aren't along the line trying to get sober and then relapse and then come back again and relapse and come back again. And if you ever met somebody like this, you know that it can be really hard to watch them fall and then get back up again time and time again. If you are someone out there who has a family member that, say, maybe uses drugs or drinks alcohol, then I know that you suffer through those frustrations. My family watched me drink and basically destroy my own life through my own actions and go back and forth with alcohol, trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to live a much better life without my vices. And as someone who thinks that they can relate to that, just know that I have some pretty terrible thoughts towards the people that go back and forth. For example, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is I can get sober. Why the hell can they not get sober? Because, once you've spent, a good 6 months without alcohol or said drugs that you use, you find a better life. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's circumstances are the same, but when you find that clarity and you wake up in the morning without the hangover or the withdrawal symptoms, I'm pretty sure you're living a better life than you were before. And before we go into some of these on a deeper level, let's just realize that these are normal thoughts for any situation. But as long as we keep those thoughts deep inside and we don't bring them to the surface, we can't deal with them. So let's get them out in the open and let's talk about them. That way we can at least acknowledge that we have these thoughts. I don't want to tell you that I think this way, but I do. And I'm going to give you an example here. And I know people or someone who has gone back and come again and been sober, now not sober, and keeps coming back into the same ring over and over again. And that helping hand is just there. And this person tends to say the right things and do the right things, but then lies about being sober and just keeps doing bad things over and over again. And I'm going to be honest with you. My first thought was, why don't they just overdose already? Get it over with. Maybe then, they could stop suffering, and so could I for having to deal with them. On the other side of that, sometimes a good example would be a person who may be sober, but they keep enabling the people that are trying to stay in sobriety by giving them drugs or finding a way to keep them from being acknowledged as being high. It's super hard to understand why somebody would do that. In my head, I'm like, I hate this person. Hate's a pretty strong word, but maybe it's true. Maybe you do on some level hate that person. And in our circles, we call that a resentment. We hold resentments against people for some of the things that they do. And while it's not good to have resentments, it's totally normal and healthy to be angry at someone. It's healthy to feel those feelings, to feel anger, because to be honest, it's kind of like having a protection response. Sometimes, maybe in the case more of family members or people working in addiction, we have these thoughts because of exhaustion or desperation. We're desperate to help people. We're desperate for people to feel better. And that's perfectly normal. But you have to deal with these thoughts. And that's why we're here tonight. Truthfully, I am in inner circles of sobriety groups and other people, and I don't like it when people come to my house. I don't like sharing my home with folks that might be in sobriety. And the truth is, I think I'm protecting myself. Somewhere in there, I don't want people to ruin what I already have because I love my life today in sobriety. And sharing those things just means I'm going backwards somewhere. At least that's where my brain goes. I think the important thing in sobriety sometimes is just to make sure that you have someone to talk to. That's why Corey has been such a big part of my life. I've found someone that I can share on a deeper level what I'm thinking on the inside, even if those thoughts are kind of scary and sometimes dark and convoluted, but she gets that, she's been there, and we can share that together. If it's not someone who you love, find some help via, someone who understands addiction and can talk to you on a personal level about how to prepare for these feelings that are coming up on the surface and how we can acknowledge them and move forward. Look, I don't like people any more than the next person, People are scary and people are weird, and sometimes I could get more done in a room with a person than having a conversation with a group. And that's true of all things. But it's important that we understand that it's normal to have feelings, to have dark thoughts, to have, regular thoughts. Everyone has them. And we go through that stage when we're trying to protect ourselves from things that we don't want in our lives. So acknowledge those thoughts and feelings. Feel better about who you are today. And if you do have someone that's going through addiction, help them. Don't stop helping them just because you're having these thoughts. Acknowledge them and move forward and try to help them a new way. Anyway, that's all I've got for tonight. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.